Managing animals on at least a 40 to 50 day rotation gives pastures the rest they need. It allows plants to flower and to set seed. This is the start of the food chain. A better grassland means more insects, more pollinators, more food for small birds and mammals, and opportunities for hen harriers to catch their prey. For the farmer, it also means lower inputs of fertiliser, increased resilience to drought, and a lower parasite burden. To deliver quality habitats on grassland and to implement a rotational grazing plan, the farmer needs to be able to focus grazing where and when it is needed. This may require some investment in fencing, improvements to access, and in the provision of drinking water. With the right infrastructure, the farmer can deliver a higher standard of management. This will pay him back in terms of better habitat scores, higher payments, improved animal performance, and a safer, more comfortable working environment. The first step is to stock-proof existing boundaries. In many cases, a good quality hedge already performs this function. But if we have a gappy hedge, a broken down earth bank, or a wall that cannot be built up, a fence will be needed to reinforce it. Before deciding on the type of fence, you need to consider the livestock on the farm and the current state of the boundary. On a sheep farm, you need a sheep wire fence, normally topped off with a single strand of barbed wire. On a cattle farm, you can consider post and wire fencing, permanent electric or temporary electric fencing. A post and wire fence needs to be built for the long haul. Invest in treated timber posts. Good stout corner posts and strainers are particularly important. In most cases, you will need 3 strands of barbed wire, although if the fence is reinforcing a wall or an earth bank, 2 strands may be adequate. Don't skimp on barbed wire. Good quality wire will last. Cheap wire will rust, it will break. It's not cheap at all when you have to replace it after a few years. Keep wire under tension. Loose wire snags animals and clothing and will deteriorate faster. Permanent electric fencing is a useful alternative to post and wire fencing. It is cheaper and easier to put up. It also has the advantage of providing an accessible power source for temporary fences used to divide paddocks. 1 strand of wire is normally enough, but it is important to keep the wire under tension, and to do this, you will still need good quality posts, particularly at the corners. Don't set the fence too far back from the field boundary. The area between will fill up with briars and will become increasingly difficult to manage. Don't be tempted to spray along the fence line to control vegetation. This poses a serious threat to hedges and field margins and will hit your habitat score hard. Electric fencing should never be set up along a public road where passers-by could get a shock. Installing permanent fencing creates a risk of disturbance to nesting hen harriers and other wildlife. The best way to reduce this is to carry out fencing work between August and March. The use of machinery in fencing operations should be kept to a minimum. Temporary electric fencing is very flexible. It can be put up very quickly and is the ideal way to break larger fields into paddocks. Temporary fencing is not suitable for stock-proofing an external boundary. Temporary fencing can be powered from the mains, either directly or through an existing permanent electric fence. If no main supply is available, the best alternative is solar power. Solar-powered fencing is just as powerful as a mains fence. It will not be drained by long grass brushing against the wire, and it is light and easy to move. The solar panels charge a battery which powers the fence, so it will work fine at night. But electric fencing only works when it is switched on. Temporary fencing can be vulnerable to damage, so you will have to check it regularly. With all electric fences, you need to be able to manage entrances and crossing points. To do this, you will need a gate with a hook and safety handle. This will allow you to safely open and close gaps to permit the passage of animals, machinery or people. Gates are an essential feature of boundary management. They put the farmer in control of how animals move around the farm. Strong gates hanging from proper posts. Concrete is best, but if there are existing stone pillars, make use of them. Gates that can be securely closed will make your work easier and give you the control you need to manage your grasslands. Cattle need to drink. If we want to maintain a planned rotation, cattle will have to be provided with water in every field or paddock. Letting cattle access drinking water directly from a stream or pond is never a good idea. They will break down the banks and destroy the vegetation that protects the water from runoff from the land. To make rotational grazing work, the farmer needs to be able to get water from a safe and reliable source to the animals in each paddock. The source can be a main supply, a well, or a watercourse. Keep the system simple. Don't use pumps if you don't need them. A main supply will often have enough pressure to reach all of the paddocks. In some situations, a gravity-fed system is a viable alternative. A gravity-fed system is like a siphon. It sucks water from the source and pipes it down to the troughs without the need for a pump. It will need a heavier gauge of pipe, but it provides a cheap and reliable method of supplying water. The only drawback is that the source must be higher than the destination. If a main supply is not available and a gravity-fed system is not possible, you will need a pump. Where you have electricity, you can power a pump from the mains. Where there is no power, you could consider a solar pump. Many of these will also power an electric fence. The best solar pumps will pump water up 50 meters or more and across a 1 kilometer horizontal distance. The most practical system for remoter fields is a pasture pump, where the animal provides the power to pump water to the trough. Pasture pumps can pump water for 50 meters horizontally and 5 meters or more vertically. Animals will have to be trained to use them, but most will take to it quite readily. Piping is needed to connect the source to the water troughs. A half-inch gauge is adequate for most purposes, but for a gravity-fed system you will need a 3/4 inch gauge as a minimum. If you are supplying drinking water to a large number of animals, invest in 3/4 or even 1 inch pipe. In most cases the pipes can run on the surface along existing field boundaries. You only really need to bury them where they have to cross a farm roadway or a gateway. If you are burying pipes, use a mole plough to get them under the sod, but burying pipes makes it harder to locate and repair leaks. Water troughs can be plastic or concrete. A 90-gallon trough is more than adequate unless the number of livestock is very large. Make sure that the water trough is on level ground and that the cattle cannot knock it over. Don't locate water troughs beside field entrances. This could lead to excessive poaching beside the gate. Don't site them near drains or watercourses. This could lead to pollution. On larger fields, water troughs should be centrally located to serve 2 or more paddocks. You can reduce the risk of poaching by using hardcore to firm up the area around the trough. Set the system up so that you can move the water trough if you need to. Smaller plastic troughs are a lot easier to move than a concrete trough. If you keep extra lengths of piping available, you can easily set them up at a new location. This will allow you to minimize any localized damage. To prevent the waste of water, a ball cock is needed on every trough to prevent water from overflowing. Remember, no matter how well it is installed, the entire system will have to be checked regularly to detect and repair leaks. Make sure you fit a valve to allow you to shut off the supply to each trough. To prevent frost damage, drain troughs that are not in use in the winter. The Hen Harrier project will invest with you in the delivery of this infrastructure. Discuss your needs with your advisor and have them submit an annual works plan between September 1st and December 31st. We will assess the proposed works for any potential negative impact. If there is a problem, you will have the opportunity to amend the plan. Once the actions are assessed, we will recommend the approval of the plan to the Department of Agriculture, Food and the Marine. You will then have until the end of March the following year to deliver the actions. Delivered actions will be certified by your advisor using the Hen Harrier app and paid for by the Hen Harrier project every month. For the farmer, infrastructure is an investment in the future. It puts the farmer in control. It enables the farmer to manage stock for the delivery of better quality habitats. These will deliver higher payments in the Hen Harrier project. Good infrastructure reduces your costs and makes your farm an easier and safer place to work.